Recently, we ordered chairs from a company in Georgia, and when we were in the process of choosing, the fabric, the type of chair, the sales agent actually said she wasn't sure if that fabric would be available and that she would check. And we had already waited several weeks to get our sample chair with that fabric, so we kind of started looking into another company at that time just in case this wouldn't work. We received a call from the sales agent saying no, it would be ready in 10 weeks. So not wanting to start the process all over again, we went ahead and made the purchase. So it was 8 weeks after our chair purchase, and I just wanted to make sure things were going okay because the chairs really played an important part in our renovation, because depending on when we got our chairs, we would get our carpet and everything. So I asked how the chairs were going, how the date was going to be, and they promised that it would still be in 2-week delivery. So I waited till the next week to call and ask, who to make the check to for the trucking company, because we had to pay separately for the trucking company, and was given the name, given the amount, and I said, okay, so the chairs will be delivered next week, and was promised again. Next week came, never got a call about when the trucking company would deliver, and called back again, and they said, oh, customer service never called you? No, customer service has never called us. And so she said, well, I'll check into that. And at that point I said, our chairs were supposed to be delivered next week. We really need a shipping date. She said, well, the fabric company closed down for 2 weeks for 4th of July, and kind of went on this long story about that, and it just didn't really make that much sense. And so at that point she said, well, I'll keep this file on my desk. It's not okay to just keep the file on the desk because these are already a week late. I need a shipping date. All along this time, they just really spoke to us kind of rudely. And when I said, I really need a shipping date, she proceeded to just say, I don't like when people are demanding. And this is the first time I've seen your file, which I said I thought that was kind of interesting, considering the sales agent told me on my answer machine and promised that in the morning the manager would call with the shipping date. And so when I asked if there was anything I could fill out for customer service, she just said, well, you can send me an email. I'll give it to the higher powers. I will give it to the owner, which from then on we decided that things weren't going very well. When we looked at our credit card statement, we actually found something interesting, that our charge was not to the chair company that we had ordered from. It was actually to a fabric company. So when we called that fabric company, we began to find out some information that this fabric company had not been sending fabric to the chair company since before we ordered our chairs. So all this time they had known they were never going to get our fabric, yet promised our chairs. And we began to tell them, well, it's interesting, we found our credit card was used at your company. And they said, well, we have made a promise, or we've made this decision with the fabric company that we won't send them any fabric until their debt is paid off or until they give us money. So what we found is that they actually used our credit card to pay off their debt. And we never gave authorization for them to do that. So at that point, we were actually able to get our money back from the credit card company and move on to order chairs with the company we had looked into at the beginning. And so we went and began the process with ordering with them. Our experience with Bertolini was a huge difference. We received phone calls when they were promised. We had customer service check up on us, see how things were. Our promised shipping date was 6 weeks, and the difference on that was that they told us, we'll call you next week with a shipping date, and they did that, where at the other company they just said it'll be in 10 weeks or so. So we just feel like, one, we were treated much more kindly, we were with professionalism. We would recommend people to use Bertolini chairs because the experience we had was one where the people there really cared. They seemed to know a lot about their chairs. they knew they had, the ability to help us make our choices and decisions quickly. And also from both our own experience and the experience of other people we've talked to who've used them, they have a track record of delivering on their promises